is I'm going to just spend 10 minutes here, and I'm going to introduce you to what IBM terms the Internet of Things. Now the thing is anytime you start looking into a new technology area like IoT, you're going to find out that everybody's got their own definition. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you a little bit about our definition. I'm actually going to do a really quick demo at the end that's going to be an introduction to some of the more complex and involved demos that you're going to see. But on the other hand, the demo that I'm going to give, I'm actually going to walk you through next week during the workshop. I'm going to show you how I built it and go through all the code and go through all the circuitry and show you all the pieces of it so that you can hopefully learn from that and use that as you work through your own designs of the challenge. Okay? So let's start off with one page of definitions. The first thing is, what is the Internet of Things? Well, here. Anyone recognize what that is? That's the Internet of Things. Seriously, there are now, believe it or not, approximately, I think the last time I checked, 2.5 times more computer processors on the planet than there are people. Okay? The number of devices we have is somewhere, 9 billion is an old number, by the way. It's way over that now. That was from like 2 years ago when that happened. And the number is increasing dramatically. We should expect somewhere between 50 billion and 1 trillion of them by the end of the decade. Now, what is happening is that we're discovering that as we add more and more devices, that we're creating new opportunities. You see, the Internet of Things is really about the following things. It's allowing you to put sensors and actuators together with connected devices that are using the Internet as the standard underlying mechanism to just get to each other and to be able to then allow you to build apps and to get to resources on the cloud from these devices. So if you think about the Fitbit, that's how it works. As I'm walking back and forth here in front of you all, it's counting my steps. What's happening is that data is being collected by the microprocessor inside the Fitbit. It's sending it via Bluetooth over to my phone. My phone is then forwarding it on via Wi-Fi out to applications that I can pick up on the cloud. In a sense, that's kind of what the Internet of Things is all about. It's taking data that it's gathering from sensors, connecting that up, and then making sense out of that data by putting it together with data perhaps from other sensors, from other people, and really gathering that into meaning, which is the really important thing. I mean, while it's neat that I can count my own steps, the really cool thing about the Fitbit, at least, is that I can compete with all my friends. So I can go on to this app tonight and I can look at Peter's stats and I can go, nah. Which is really what puts the meaning and the interest into these kinds of things. Well, this is where our view of the interconnected world like that really comes in. The assumption is that everything in the world is increasingly getting to the point that it is instrumented. We have sensors of all sorts of types. One of the things that I'll be talking about during the workshop that I'll be going through in a week here is different kinds of sensors that you can talk about. Well, the Fitbit's got an accelerometer. It's got an altitude sensor. Some of the new ones have got GPS chips that they're integrating into it. It's got an LED heart rate sensor, and some of the newer ones from Fitbit that are coming along with that. But if you think about it, there's dozens of other types of sensors you can add on. You can do magnetic sensors. You could do electromagnetic sensors. Anything that exists, you can pretty much make measurements of and figure out what you're going to do with it. So that's the idea of all this data coming in through a set of globally interconnected devices. You see, it's really in the combination of all these things that the value comes in. As I said, each individual measurement from a particular sensor might be interesting, but it really becomes valuable when you start thinking about this in terms of not just one sensor, but thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of sensors. That's when things really start to get interesting, and that's when you can really start to think about what it is that your apps and your systems that you're building can have an impact with. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about, that you're going to see more and more as you go through some of the things related to the challenge, and especially as you go through the workshop next week, is you're going to be seeing more about what we call the IBM Internet of Things Foundation. And what this is just a set of tools to help you build things to go onto the Internet of Things. It's really pretty simple. It basically amounts to the fact that we do have all of these different devices of all sorts of different types, and you're going to see lots of these different types today at all the different stations, going up into the cloud, connecting to each other, and then allowing you to assemble applications, collect all that data, and manage all the data that you're gathering from sense and meaning out of all that data. Once you've done that, then you can take some very simple APIs to gather that collected data out, extract it, and build applications to help you use that. The way that you do that in the IBM Internet of Things Foundation is very simple. There's a really simple API that you can go to that allows you to register devices. And you can just register as many devices as you want, up to 5, just without having to pay a single thing on it. And we'll see that again next week as we go through this. The way that the device is actually communicated up to the Internet of Things is with a particular protocol called MQTT. MQTT is the MQ telemetry transport protocol. It's an open source, open standard protocol that's now been standardized by Oasis. We've donated all the source code for that to the Eclipse Pavo project. And what that allows you to do is take a very simple asynchronous protocol, very low power, very lightweight, and just dump information up from your little connected devices into the cloud for later processing. That is in fact what I'm doing on the demo that I'm going to be showing you here. So you can take any of a number of different boards that we have available. The particular demo I'm going to show you is based on an Arduino, but you can do this with a BeagleBone, you can use the Raspberry Pi, you can do just about anything else you want to. We're not going to put any restrictions on what you can do because the key is we want to keep it all open, we want to keep it all available for you to use whatever hardware you have. And then once you have connected your device up to the IoT Foundation through this simple MQTT API, then what you're going to be able to do is collect and visualize that data on the cloud. Well, again, that's mildly interesting, but what really happens is you want to not just be able to collect the data up and take a look at it, but you want to be able to build things with it too. So the first thing I want to show you here is basically what I've got running. So let's start over here in my browser. So what you see here is not that interesting, right? It's a graph. What does the graph represent? Well, here's what's actually sending the data out. So this is an Arduino Uno, okay? A simple little onboard chip for doing Internet of Things processing that I've connected up to a simple, cheap digital temperature sensor. And the Arduino Uno actually takes the data in from the temperature sensor, then uses MQTT to actually send that out over Wi-Fi to the IoT cloud. And as you can see, it's actually in real time picking the data up and sending it out as it goes on. Again, mildly interesting and mildly useful. But where things can really start to get interesting is that you can then build applications to start using that. And that's where the last thing we're going to talk about at the workshop next week is going to come in. That's IBM Bluemix. IBM Bluemix is our cloud environment for building applications. So you can build mobile applications, you can build web applications using all of that data that you've connected through the MQTT protocol up to the IoT Foundation. All right? So that's it for this demo. Just wanted to kind of give you a quick introduction to the kinds of things that you can build. And by the way, it took me all of like an hour to build this last night. So it's really not that hard for you guys to pick that up. This is some resources that you'll be able to use. A couple to remember is just www.bluemix.net. And the other one is internetofthings.ibmcloud.com. Go to those two URLs, go through the tutorials, and you should be able to get started. And with that, I'm going to turn things back over to John.
Yeah, let me say one thing. You've got